Good morning, everyone. I came across Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's latest short course at the NICAB about integration of trauma. Um, okay, the best, like Bessel van der Kolk and Levine, and have understood that integration and not desensitization of pain and trauma is the key to release. Uh, if you've seen my previous posts, you know about the alpha state becoming your omega state on Earth, and the release of the trauma frequency to make space for an intelligence that wants to permeate this planet, and those who are able to sustain its frequency wants to permeate this earth fully now. And its trauma is a tool to access, just like in geode cracking, to access the beauty within that can reflect the light from above and reflect the above light from inside out. I hope it makes sense. It will for those this message is intended to. So for those who have seen my previous posts, this is your alpha state. And actually, those who are listening to me and have probably gone like beyond the alpha state, and this is the stellar gateway is open. But then again, like, this is consciousness, and it's having a great time. It's just one singular point, and all the void. Consciousness is dark matter. It's the void. The quantum field is consciousness, dark matter, plus our data, particles of light. So this singular point thought of itself, as the Bogdanov brothers said, oh, what's that? What's that thought? And self-realization, shock, energy, vibration, moving around that first thought. The intention is to get data of that thought, and this is a part of consciousness, so it wants out. And it won't be released until consciousness got its data. And it's the same thing for trauma. So this is your life again. Okay, birth, etc., etc. Inside you have a core frequency, which is the undying core frequency. And the more you have experienced trauma consciously, and the more you are you identify with this core frequency, it is very strong in you. Whatever happens in your physical reality, you hear this, like, and it's a sound, like in my post of Gaia, they have that frequency of a healthy cell, which is actually the core frequency of the cell, and an unhealthy cell will be very, very discordant. but it's not from within, and it just covers your core frequency. Because as you experience things that you don't like, okay, so you move along your life and stuff. This is your loop. Your past, your future. You like your past, you want to recreate it, and it's painful because you can't. You have a painful past, and you do everything you can not to live it again. Um, and it creates more suffering, actually. So this your core frequency is always there. So this is the frequency of trauma. It wants out. And the more you experience it, so it's like this. The more you experience it, and the more you want to be done with it. You want to discard this frequency. You don't want to feel it. So basically, you'll do things to numb, and your addictions will just the frequency will go a bit outside of your cell, and then as whatever substance you've been using or whatever, there's going to be a low, and you're going to feel bad, and this, it goes like this. So eventually, this is going to feel so unbearable. It's going to be a trigger, and it's going to open this. But as it gets unbearable, so it breaks the shell. It breaks the alpha. It's going to break it. And what's going to happen is what happens in during fires in closed rooms. You will have to integrate the pain, no matter what. It's gonna go within extremely deep until you acknowledge it, feel it, and then it's going to move out. So the only way for you to get rid of that trauma frequency is to feel it from within, and it's from the center that it's moved out. This is extremely heavy frequency. Those I'm talking to and those I'm meant to work with are like the toughest of the toughest on earth. And why? Because, as I said, and the Christ said it, and again, I'm not religious. The Christ said it a long time ago. I'm coming back, and he never said a human is coming back. What is coming back? The Christ was one of the humans, the more permeated, like he had, his body was a pod, and he was totally permeated with the all that is God frequency, the dark matter, consciousness, whatever you name it. So yes, it's coming back. Consciousness is coming back, not humans. Actually, there's going to be fewer humans in the future, and I'm meant to work with those who will channel consciousness fully. And I'll tell you my little story a bit much later. I had to integrate consciousness at a very, very young age, and I was wondering, what am I doing here? This is absolutely not my field. Now I know why. So it is extremely trauma. Heavy trauma is extremely heavy data. So those who will sustain it and integrate it fully into their center to expel it, we are able to integrate the extremely heavy and sophisticated data of consciousness. It is simple but extremely sophisticated, like a back suit. So, fortunately, we do have scientists like Bessel van der Kolk. I don't know if he knows it or if he would say, would agree with me, but he is a channel. And that's because in his DNA, heavy trauma has left an imprint. And we have channels on this planet like Aborigines and Native Americans, because they had to endure the densest traumas inflicted on Earth without losing their alignment with Source, which is remaining in a state of respectful life. So it's not easy. Integrating trauma doesn't mean, yes, you will release the frequency of trauma. For some, it's going to be a done deal, but for most, there's still going to be tears, there's still going to be pain, but you will experience it in such a different way, because your consciousness will be both within and without. You'll be sustained whatever happens in your life. Source will sustain you. Consciousness will sustain you. So about the molecular structure of our humanness. When you look at the ground, you see, okay, that's the ground, I can walk on it. If I want to punch it, I'm going to break my bones. But if I do this, and this, particles will go in the air. And the more Source consciousness inflicts you heavy trauma, and the more particles of you, okay, will go into the air, will merge with the field, and then you go back to your original state. But the more your particles, your data-loaded particles merge with the field, the more you remember that state. And at some point, like Steve Nowak, you can consciously gather your own photons, particles of light, which are data-loaded particles, into the field, and you get data from the field, and you bring them on Earth. likewise, you can, and Steve Nowak does it consciously. I do too, but in a different way, because I choose. I'm not meant to mingle my photons with just anybody, and Steve can do that with just anybody. So basically, his photons and your photons during a session will mix, and he's able to take you by the hand into that photon reality. It's just an incredible, an amazing experience, because you just merge with another human on a photonic level. And that's the state which consciousness uses to get data from us, but only valuable data, meaning it has to be authentic, it has to be true. Consciousness doesn't like lies. I wanted to mention something about what I said about Trump, and I'm not into politics. It's just why did I say what I said about Trump? Do I want to be with this person? No. Do I agree with everything he does? Absolutely not. But I recognize one thing: he's utterly aligned with his core frequency, as within, so without. So whatever he does, meaning the field, consciousness uses him. And yes, he gets what he wants in life for himself. That's the reward. If you are aligned as within, so without, you just cannot fail. But then you can be whatever you want on this planet. It don't have to be Trump. And the reason why Democrats are not winning at this time is that there's discordance in what they say. I saw Mamdani and Obama at a kindergarten, and they have very strong and values that I like, that I'm aligned with, except there's discordance in what they say. Because you have to be brave to be authentic. You have to be brave. At that kindergarten, they were sitting in front of very small children, and clearly they were seated, and they were avoiding making contact with one of the worst human criminal actions on this planet. I'll let you see it on the internet. You cannot put forward values that you don't take actions on. There's one consciousness wants to permeate this planet fully. That's the second coming. Consciousness, not humans. Consciousness doesn't need me. It doesn't need anybody to permeate this planet. It wants people. It wants channels. But to be a channel of consciousness, you have to be firmly grounded, meaning what's within you, you do without. You bring outside of you. So now, because consciousness is permeating more and more this planet, whatever is a lie, is not authentic, is not gonna go through. And for now, in the States, Trump is the most authentic man available. Okay, that was just to because some people were unhappy with what I said about Trump. It's not about Trump. It's about authenticity and the coming of consciousness, and it's discarding anything that's not aligned with the goal of consciousness. And yes, it's aligned with righteousness, even though Eva Pomporas doesn't like that word and that concept. Look at that tree. It is aligned in rectitude. Both in the ground and into space. So, back to Bessel van der Kolk and the need to integrate trauma so that you can eventually release the frequency of trauma and make room for something else, which is you alive in your authenticity, your well-being, wherever you are, whatever you do. Even though some countries and continents are more consciously opened than others, and that's why I know I'm meant to move continent rather soon. We'll see. Well, I'll see. The need for integration. And by the way, I heard that in the States, research has been done on the use of ibogaine and other stuff like ayahuasca. So if you remember my small design on the ground of the alpha, what the use of ibogaine and ayahuasca will do is it is going to intensify. It's going to intensify the discordant frequency on the outer shell. It will probably help some. I know for a fact Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate, accessed. It gave him access to more of his inner resources. So he went deeper inside himself. But you have to be extremely strong. Usually, life gives you what you need to break the pod, so that you access the full consciousness. Life gives you what you need, but the urge, and actually it's aligned with consciousness's urge to get rid of that frequency to make room for something else. It will probably help people get rid of that frequency much faster with, I guess, you have to have the good environment and people around you, and trust your intuition for that. You don't need it. You might. It might help you. To integrate more information more quickly. But then again, the aim is to go through all this with your full capacity, your you need to be neurologically intact for source to permeate through you. So your nervous system is precious, and consciousness knows what it's doing, even though for a human, so in our human lives, sometimes we doubt it. So just go through that stellar gateway and receive. Found this on the path. A small Fibonacci sequence. And that's exactly what the field is undoing now. And as I said, everything is communication from the field. Your children might tell you things that you won't even notice come from consciousness itself. And sometimes it can be really, really, really like sophisticated knowledge. So pay attention to what they say. Consciousness likes its creation. And it's going to create more organically. I know the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona is gathering a lot of attention, and actually, I'm going to make myself friends again. This cathedral is spun on what the field doesn't want to do anymore. It's like compulsive alpha sequencing that is not organic to it. So what the field is now permeating this planet with will more be like Zaha Hadid architecture. She left this planet, I'm not surprised. What she came up with in terms of architecture on this planet is very, very much infused with all that is the field, God, whatever, with its intention now. And Ross Lovegrove as well. So he wants to create in a flow state, in a 0 point state, in the Shaddai state, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to leave you at that. I just want to say happy 4th of July to my American friends. I remember a very happy 4th of July in the Hamptons as I went on a 6 months working visa in my young age. The Hamptons, Hampton Bays, and Southampton. That was wild. That was a wild 4th of July. So, happy 4th of July, everyone.